orders. What it do, y'all? Let me see if I can get some of this light in here. It's a little dim. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I'll make sure. Whew. Hey, everybody. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to come on in here tonight. Hope y'all doing good. What's going on? Hey, Cozy Free, how are you? Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Thank you. That's right. Hey, Mario, hope you're doing good. You could call and check in. It'd be nice to hear your voice. Hey, Miss Gwen. So let me see. Girl, I am doing like trying to do 3 things at one time, and that usually never fares well for me. So I'm trying to give y'all my undivided attention, but I swear I'm trying to bring up my messages. Okay. So if this is your first time here, thank you for being here. Hit your like button. Hold on, I want to make sure. Okay. Hit the like button, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And as always, if you have a question, please drop your question so that I can answer it for you. Most of the time, I'm going to be talking about taxes tonight. You know, it's so funny because I seem like that's what I talk about the most, but it is tax season. Let me bring my phones over here. All right. So I'm actually doing this off of 2 phones. Okay. So if my eyes are going back and forth, that is why, because I'm looking at a phone. So let me know if y'all can hear me. I hope that you guys can make it out well. Okay. So I was on live on Wednesday. I don't know who caught the Wednesday live. We did talk about some stuff with Trump that Trump is doing. Some information about where you can look up for yourself so that you can see what these executive orders are, some of the things that are going to be coming down the pipeline and stuff. So I don't know if y'all heard of Federal Register, but if you haven't, Federal Registers .gov is a good site that y'all can go and be tuned in, because a lot of y'all ask me where I get my information from, and I do get a lot of information from that and the news as well. Okay. So a few things, and I don't know if I talked about it on Monday or Wednesday, but I'm just going to run it back. So the IRS does not open for tax season until the 27th. But if you are or have filed your taxes early, they are already accepting and or rejecting your taxes. Okay, so if you've one of those individuals that ran out there and got them done as soon as possible, please check to make sure they were accepted or rejected. A lot of you are finding rejections because early filers did not receive their Obamacare form. Okay, so that's that 1095. If you didn't get your 1095 and you got it now, you need to go and give that to your tax preparer. Hey, Nicola. And that's right. Share. I appreciate the love and support. Thank you very much. Let me tell y'all, every Monday, right? As much as I come here, and I've been doing this for a while, I still get so nervous every Monday before I come. Because one, I don't know everybody that's watching. But I'd like to give out good information. I want to make sure that I'm giving good information. And just hell, it's just stressful. That's all. Okay. So I like to do my best to give y'all what other people want to know. Okay, a lot of y'all, I'm not going to ask these questions on live, but y'all will send me a message in my inbox or email me. So let me just run that down. You can always go to my website, shamikasaves.com, or you can send me an email, shamikasaves@gmail. A lot of y'all want to know stuff, and a lot of y'all need to be asking it here because other people need to hear this. Okay. All right, so again, the IRS is not officially open, but they are already accepting and rejecting your taxes. So please make sure that you check to see what has happened with you and your tax information, okay? The second thing we talked about on Wednesday, and I was telling you guys that Trump said that he was basically not going to hire those 87,000 IRS agents. And I told you guys that's great if that's what they want to do. But please be mindful that AI is doing your tax review, okay? AI, all right? That is what's going to be doing your tax review. So that's not to say anything or to scare anybody or anything like that. It's just good to know that it's just good information to know, period, okay? So someone had asked me about a 1099, okay? So I want to talk about a 1099-R. Thank you, Mo. Mo says they always give good information. I appreciate that. If you guys withdrew money from your retirement accounts, please, please, please make sure that you put those in. That is the biggest and quickest and fastest way for you to get audited, is to not pay them money that they know that you owe them already, okay? If you don't know, I'll just run it down to you. When you have, when you withdraw your money from your 401k because you left that job and you didn't roll it over, you are gonna get taxed twice, okay? You get taxed the very first time you pull that money out, and then the IRS wants to tax you also, okay? And I'm gonna give you an example. I did someone's taxes today. They were head of household with one child, and the child was born in 19, so I wanna say the child was definitely less than 10, okay? 6, 7, right? The income was only $37,000, right? Well, what happened was this person had a refund of about $5,000, okay? And I just want to show y'all how big a deal this is. After that 1099-R was put in, he only withdrew $4,300. It knocked his return down to it knocked it down like $2,000. So it went down to like $3,000, and he was definitely not happy about it. And you know, a lot of y'all will think, well, how about I just don't include it? And I'm like, absolutely do not leave that out. Now, if y'all say y'all forgot a W-2, I can understand that. Yes, they may come back a little later, but the 1099, they're gonna come back later, but they usually come back with an audit. That's what I want y'all to be mindful of. So, you know, those retirement forms, big deal. Okay. Also, another thing that I'm seeing is because there's been new updates in this tax software, and I want y'all to hit that like button and share and all that good stuff. Okay. And again, ask me questions if you have them. I'm going off the top of my head of what I remember. But this is just stuff that I've been talking to y'all about this week. Every year, the tax software comes out with something new and extra. This year, okay, they are asking for proof that tax professionals verify. Now, it used to be you could verify it, your filing status. If you had a household, you married, you're single. Now, when you fill out that 8862, that's not what you guys fill out. That is what your tax preparer fills out. They are now asking more questions to see how much you are scrutinizing what the tax preparer is bringing. Now, y'all might not know this because your tax preparer is probably not asking anything different, especially if it's somebody that you've been going to for years and years. But if you go to somebody new, they should be asking you some additional questions that they did not ask you last year, all right? And the IRS is even saying if you want to add notes as to exactly what you looked at. For example, if I say review driver's license and I put the dates of the date it was issued to the date of expiration, they are starting to want to get down to the wire to know all the information. Okay, they're not telling us what to use, but they are wanting us to prove or show them what we view in order to say that this is you, because they are trying to cut down on fraud. Okay, so that's something that's new. And another thing that's new is, and this just happened, someone I don't know if you guys look at your tax on your W-2 forms. you guys need to start looking at boxes 12 through 14. Okay, so let me give you the rundown. Boxes 1 through 6 are usually going to be what you earned in income and what you paid in Social Security, Medicare, and all of that stuff. Okay, boxes 10, 11, 12, 10, and 11 usually don't have too much in it, but 12 and 14, those usually have your deductions that your employer paid for you. So if you have a health savings account, or if you have, they've paid for like your medical, okay, especially for some of my military guys, their pay can show that they receive $18,000 for the year, but in actuality, they paid taxes on $28,000 because some of that money was, well, a lot of that is tax deferred money. Okay, they put money in their 401k plan. Okay, so if you have numbers or letters in that box 12 and 14, you may have to provide another form. What happened today was somebody ended up having to have a health savings form. They didn't even know they had health savings, but because the employer put that code on their W-2, they now have to go and find that form to put it in the system, because the IRS will not even let you go to the point where you can finish their tax return, because the system is already telling it that there's a form that's missing. Okay, so what people don't know, and I'm about to read y'all comments in a second, is that when tax preparers are actually doing these, working in the software, it's only teaching AI what to do. So every year when IRS comes out, it's going to implement new things. Okay, it's going to implement new things, one from probably what they've discussed in back rooms, if they want new procedures, but also the systems are getting smarter, and they're going to put in new things that we have to do in order to teach these systems, because eventually tax preparers will not be people. Okay, it's going to be a system, just like the free program is right now. Okay, so let me see what y'all asking. Hey, Miss Aura, I'm glad you're here, and I will talk about what you asked me about. Okay, Jay Tawala says, I took money in my 401k last year and didn't apply. Should I do it this year? If you took money out of your 401k last year, that would have been 2024. That means you should be receiving a 1099-R form, and you need to put that on your taxes. Now, if you meant that you took it out in 23 and you did not put it on your taxes, then yes, you need to do an amendment and go and add that form back, so that you can see if you were overpaid, which you probably were. If you got a refund, you probably were overpaid because you didn't put in the form that you had took additional money out. Now, let me tell y'all something. When y'all get that 1099-R and you guys withdraw money from your retirement, that the IRS treats that like income. Okay. And what I don't like about it is they kind of hit you 2 times. Okay. They hit you the first time with their 10%, because you withdrew your money before retirement age. They hit you with the 10%, but then they also hit you again tax-wise, because that income is now added to your income that you earn, which means you may jump into another tax bracket. So that individual that I was talking about that was made 37, at the end, he ended up with 42,000 that he made for the year, because he withdrew that money and the IRS is looking at it as income. Okay, I bet y'all didn't know that. All right. Let me see what y'all saying over here real quick, okay? On TikTok. Again, if y'all got any questions, please ask. All right, and I appreciate if y'all share. Hey, Ramona. Thank you. Okay, this is a bad hair day hat, and so this is what we doing. Okay, we don't let people, we ain't letting y'all see it. It's a bad hair day, so we just put this on. All right, Trick says, I'm stressed. I haven't filed taxes since 2019. I do usually break even, or they owe me. What do I do? Well, first of all, Tricks 203, thank you for asking. Second of all, you need to file. Third of all, if you try to file for 19 and 20, you will not get any refund, because the IRS will only pay you back for the last 3 years. So you should file. Let me just tell you the truth. As a tax person, I'm supposed to tell you, you should file for accounting purposes. Okay, they need checks and balances to make sure that what your employer said they paid you is what actually you received on your W-2. But if you are due a refund, you won't get it. But if you owe the IRS, you have to pay them. So if you break even, great. Now, for years 21, 22, 23, you need to file. You can still get a refund for those years. And if you did not file in 21, you still have time to get your stimulus, okay? It's almost out of there, but you got time for 21. You have to do it by April of this year. Yeah, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, so no, actually, I take that back. Let me take that back. I said that wrong. You can't get the stimulus because it's on the 4th year now, but you still should file and get the money for the rest of your taxes. All right. I know what I want to talk about real quick. Okay. Oh, Jay, you didn't file for any of those years. then we need to file them. You absolutely need to file them, because just like I said earlier, the not filing a 1099-R is the automatic red flag. And then, and same for you too, Tricks, because you took this long, you are going to be fined and penalized for not filing on time. So you used to break even, but those years that you did not file, the IRS is already going to tell you what you owe them. Okay, so for example, I can do it in the software, and the software is going to come back and say, oh, you broke even, you don't owe anything, and we can submit it. But that doesn't mean that later the IRS isn't going to send you a bill for filing late. Okay. Hey Bernice. All right, so somebody sent this in my inbox, and I just want to address for who this pertains to, okay? That W-4 form. The W-4 form is the form that y'all get when y'all start a brand new job. It is what your employer uses to be able to determine how much you want to pay in taxes, okay? Now, I always say this, but I'm gonna just remind y'all, the old W-4 form that we used to use, where you can put your exemptions that you wanted to take one kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, and they would know to tax you less because you claiming 3 kids, that form is gone. This form that we use now is under Trump's tax plan, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. The purpose of the form, before I explain how to use it, is to make sure that you break even, just like Trick said, meaning at the end of the year, if you are a person without children, just a single person, you should have a $0 tax refund, because it was designed for you not to pay more than you need to, and the government not to hold your money. Because, and I'm talking to single people only, a tax refund for a single person is the government giving you your money back that you asked them to hold for you interest-free throughout the year. Your job should be to have all your money come to you that you are not supposed to pay in taxes, and only pay them their fair share, okay? That is what that form was designed to do. For people with kids, same thing. It doesn't want you to pay more than you should. But because you have children, even if, and this is in most cases, even if you don't pay enough in taxes, the majority of you will be covered, because you get a child tax credit or the earned income tax credit. And whatever you owe the IRS, the money that you get from your children will reduce that. So if you owe IRS $1,500 and you got $3,000 coming from a child, you now only owe the IRS $1,500. I mean, you only are going to receive $1,500 because they took the other 15. Now, if you're a single person, you don't have anything. You really don't have no, you can do self-employment, but that's a whole nother story, okay? So that is how it's designed to work with people with children. Whatever you did not pay, they're going to take it from your earned income tax credit and then send you the rest as a refund. Married people, if you're married with no kids, you're going to be treated like a single person. If you're married with kids, you're going to fall into the category of people with kids. Now that I said all that, I need y'all to understand that when you fill out this W-4 form, if y'all put nothing, you're going to be exempt. Okay, because the HR people aren't going to read your mind, and half of them don't really know how to do this form either. This is why they don't give y'all classes on it, because a lot of them are stuck the same as y'all are. Here is the easiest way to explain how to do this form, guys, okay? Take your annual income. All of you should know your annual income. Even if you are a nurse or a person that does a lot of overtime, you know that as a minimum, you're going to work 40 hours a week, making however much a year, okay? So let me get my calculator. This is all y'all need is a calculator. So we just going to do it basic on $40,000 a year, all right? If you make $40,000 a year, I can't tell you how you get paid. You either get paid 24 times a year or 26 times a year. People who get paid 24 times a year get paid on the 1st and the 15th. People who get paid 26 times a year get paid every 2 weeks. That means your payday falls on different dates. So we're going to say 26 pay periods, okay? So I'm going to take that 40,000 and I'm going to divide it by 26. Okay? That's $1,538.46. So we're going to round it up and say $1,539. All right? $1,539. That is how much you should be paying Hold on. Let me do that. Let me do it again. Hold on. 40,000, because I don't want to say nothing wrong. Because you get one time to say it right, and then you confuse people. Times 26 payment. Hold on. Nah, it's all messed up. 1 second, y'all. Hold on. Oh, you know what? That's what I did wrong. I think I should have did divided by. I apologize. So you take your salary and you divide it by how many times you get paid, not multiply. If I don't know which one I said, but I want to make sure I said that right. So 40,000, and I divided it by 26 pay periods. That means, and that came up with 1538. And I want to get this form for y'all because, and I don't know if y'all have this form up, but I want y'all to, when you get the form, all you need to do is look at line 4C, for Charlie, okay? You can skip all those other lines. You can read the instructions if you choose, but if you skip all those other lines and go right to line 4C where it says extra withholding, you can put the exact amount that you want to come out every 2 weeks. So $40,000 divided by 26 pay periods, that's $153.84 every pay period. You can put in the extra withholding, $153.84, and let your HR person know that that is how much you want taken out. Now, they may say, well, we don't want it in line 4C, put it in line 4A. It is up to your HR department to tell you which one, because you don't want somebody confused and thinking you want an extra $153. Everyone that I've worked with, I always tell them to put it in C and tell them don't take out anything else but what you put in your withholding. Then at the end of your, at the end of the year, when you get your W-2, now, this person, we don't know if they're single or if they have kids. So we're going to say this person is single. We still haven't factored in the standard deduction, and you guys don't have to factor that in. The tax software will do that. Even though this person paid $153 every pay period, they still will get a small refund because they overpaid. Because for the standard deduction for a single person, they still, and I tell y'all what the standard deduction is all the time, but I'm gonna move on. The standard deduction is the amount that the IRS will allow you to earn without taxing you. So I'm just going to do straight numbers to make it easy. Say, for example, it's only like 14,000. So I'm just going to say 15. Out of that 40,000, 15,000 isn't taxed. So they're only being taxed on, and I'm going to do the math, okay? Even though I can do it without the calculator, I'm going to do it. So $25,000 is what they're really being taxed on. They've overpaid taxes by paying $153, but this is how you can assure you're going to get a little bit of refund and you pay the government. Because some people, the majority of y'all, all want to see something at the end of the year. When people find out that they're getting $0 back, you know what most of them will say? Don't file, which is crazy. You should file. That means you did the right thing and you didn't give them more money than they should have taken. And you kept the majority of your money throughout the year. So basically all you got to do to make it really easy for everybody is just take your salary. Even if you do overtime, forget the overtime. Just do your base salary, okay? Now, if you're working a lot of overtime, like double the whole year, you might need to take your overtime pay. But for most of y'all, take your regular pay and divide it by how many times you get paid out a year, 24 or 26. That will tell you, what you, and then you know what? And if y'all want me to make it even easier for you, just take 10% of your salary. So if you if you make $40,000, 10% is 4,000. You could divide that 4,000 up. Hold on. 4,000, and we're going to divide it up by 26 pay periods. 153. It's the same thing either way. So you 10% of your salary divided by how many times you get paid. Or just take your full salary and divide it by how many times you get paid. And you can put that on box line 4C. And that will end a lot of y'all problems with not having taxes taken out. I hate when somebody works and comes back at the end of the year and go, I didn't realize they weren't taking any taxes out. Yeah, you did, because your check was way bigger than you ever seen it before. Okay? All right, Johnny says, I appreciate you helping us with the high school diploma. I got a great job. I've been there 3 years and getting paid great. Good looking out. Oh, congratulations. Nothing wrong with that, okay? And yes, if somebody needs a high school diploma for a job, there is a school out there that will send you the booklets and will let you do high school by correspondence. It's not the GED. And you too can get you a diploma and be like Johnny Jefferson and get you a good job. Hey, Kai B. So if you want to break even, then we have to you would have to get with a tax person, because we would have to see your see what tax bracket you fall in. Because, for example, a person that makes $40,000 a year, they are really in a 12%. They're in a 12% tax bracket, okay? But if you make 50, 60,000, we might need to go up to 20%. So if you want to break even, to know that you're not paying them anymore, you will need to go one step further and find out what tax bracket you fall in. Okay, so that makes a big difference too. But I usually say, as a rule of thumb, just do 10%. Because at the end of the day, even if you do come out that you owe, it will be so much, it will be so little compared to if you had no taxes taken out at all. Okay. Because we're not factoring in the standard deduction. That's why I do it the way I do it, because we just take it off your whole income. We're not excluding nothing. That's what confuses you guys when y'all start looking at that W-4 form, because it start talking about you got kids, you got more than one job, the standard deduct. Half of y'all don't even know what that stuff is. So to make it easy, 10% of your income, and go from there. Okay. Hey, Mahalia. Velvet Jones says, first time here. Hello, what's going on here? We're talking about taxes right now. If you have a question, it could be about credit. It could be about whatever. You could drop it. Let me see if y'all asking anything over here on TikTok, because I know y'all are. That was a very long explanation. I apologize. Funeral home salary varies. Okay. Well, this is what I would tell somebody to do. If they say, Shamika, I don't know my income. If you worked that job last year, then pull up your tax forms for last year and look at your income. Not your adjusted gross income. Look at your income that you got from your W-2s. Okay, look at the income that's on your tax forms. You can use those same numbers to plan. If tax preparation was done correctly, you and your tax preparer are supposed to sit every year and go over what you need to do different for next year. That's called tax planning. So I know if somebody is owing, I'm gonna be like, girl, when you get a chance, let's get that W-4 and let's do it right. Because y'all mad that you're not getting these big refunds, but a lot of it's because you didn't do your taxes right, which is not the tax preparer's fault. Ultimately, it falls on you. Okay, so that is a part of, when you get your taxes done by your tax preparer. They are supposed to look and let you know what you need to do different, so that you're either in a better situation than versus being in, a bad one. And I'll give y'all one more example, and then I'll get to you, Miss Aura. I had someone say that they had someone come get their taxes done. This person made a great amount of money. Okay, they had a 1099 job. They didn't know anything about write-offs, and after making $70,000, tell me if I'm wrong with that amount, they owe $16,000, and they don't know what to do. Okay, well, a couple things. If y'all are self-employed individuals, please make it a habit of printing out the quarterly tax sheets so that you can actually cut these vouchers out, because the IRS puts them all on one page. You just cut them off and you send a check and mail it off with your money. Okay, I have an older guy. He's in his 90s. Every single year, he knows that he makes so much money from his investments, from his retirement, from his pension, all of these things, that he has to overpay. And he always shows me proof that he wrote checks 4 times a year to the government for about 20 grand, because he knows he makes that much money. And you know why he does that? Because at the end of the year, he still owes, but he would hate for me to hit him with 20 grand plus what he owes. So to soften the blow for some of y'all who know that you're going to do these 1099 jobs, just cut them a check. That's it. Why? Because your employer who wrote you that 1099 is turning in your income to the IRS, so they know how much you made. They just want to see if you're going to pay them. All right. So a lot of people are doing these 1099 jobs because they don't want to pay child support. Okay, that's definitely why a lot of people, now it's not for all my ladies, I know for a lot of the guys that I talk to, they get 1099 jobs because they don't want to have to pay child support because it doesn't get deducted. Okay, but there's downsides to 1099. Okay, if you get treated wrong by your I don't want to call them your employer, but y'all call them your employer. Do you know that you can't go and tell anybody because you are an independent contractor? So you can't even call the Department of Labor and say, I have a complaint, this person has done X, Y, and Z to me, because you are not an employee. Okay, it's very difficult and a lot of times to prove your income when you're a 1099 employee. And of course, being 1099, y'all are not putting in to your retirement. All right. So I don't think anything's wrong with 1099, but a lot of people are trying to go exempt because they want to keep all this money, but y'all are not thinking about further down the road. If you don't pay into a system, you can't use any of its benefits. All right. So keep that in mind. Okay. Natural beauties. I love the colors you are wearing. They look nice on you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It says, can you offset a 1099 with business write-offs? Yes, you can. That's what I was going to talk about. So the person that ended up finding out they owed $16,000, they knew nothing about the Schedule C. If you're a tax preparer or if you are a person that is an independent contractor, you need to just type in the Schedule C form. Why do I want y'all to know about this form? Because some of y'all who do owe the IRS, y'all are letting people put anything on that form, and y'all are trusting these people because y'all can't read the forms, okay? Did I tell y'all about the guy that got an $89,000 refund? He did. But when he actually sent me his taxes, because I had to look through them, I couldn't believe the numbers that the person was putting down in order to get the refund. Now, this was not a business tax return. This was a regular 1040 return. But because that person did not know how to read the Schedule C, the Schedule E, the Schedule F, there's different schedules. These schedules are what you use for businesses, and you put in these expenses, and it can, in certain situations, give you more money, a higher refund, or it can lower the amount that you owe to IRS. It could go either way, okay? So this person put down that this person, and I'm gonna give y'all an example of what this person did. They used the fuel tax form, which is they're not saying that they're allowing people to use that this year, but they put that this person used like 150, 200,000 gallons of gas because this person was a truck driver. Now that's great, but guess what? Truck drivers can't write off fuel. So I'm not saying that the IRS will or won't come back behind and ask questions. They probably will, because that was a high ass refund, and they took credits that they can't claim. Speaking of credits, ERC, if anybody else asked me about this ERC, that is the Employee Retention Credit, okay? Yes, the IRS will allow you to put in a application for it, but you need to qualify. And if you do not qualify, you do not need to do it. And you need to stop letting people tell you you qualify, and you actually need to go to the IRS website or just look on Google and ask yourself these questions. I had one person message me and said they paid somebody a lot of money, and that person never submitted the information, and they scammed them. Okay, so people are still hitting y'all business owners up because it's easy to find you online. So please be mindful that if you, most of y'all will not qualify for ERC because you don't have employees. Okay, that's the number one thing. ERC stands for Employee Retention Credit. You need employees, and a lot of you do not have them. Okay, so yes, you can write off expenses for your business. You just need the Schedule C form and look at the categories, guys. Just look for yourself. So that way, when you get your tax form, you can see what they put down. Okay. If they put down that you rode 70,000 miles in 1 year and you had a full-time job, it's not possible. It's not y'all can't even drive 70,000 miles on your own in your own car and work a full-time job. Okay. And most truck drivers are W-2. And if they're 1099, then yes, you could do your mileage if you're 1099. But if not, you cannot. Okay, that's a big difference. Let me see what y'all saying. And please ask questions if you have it. Can you write off mileage if you're 1099 as a second job? Medical, absolutely. As a medical courier, yes, and because you're probably using your own personal vehicle. You should keep your miles. You are probably using the lights in your home so you can look at the stuff. You probably, so utilities, you're probably buying ink because you may have to print things, supplies. So that would be supplies, pens. Some of y'all would have uniform expenses if you have to have be in a certain dress. No, you cannot write off gas. I don't know how many times people ask me that, but this is why I want y'all to look at that form, because that's not an expense at all. They give you mileage, and they're giving you 71 cents, I believe, for miles. So mileage is very good, okay? It's definitely is not equivalent to these gas prices, but they trying, okay? So it's a lot of stuff that y'all may not think about that you may need, okay? Some of y'all, hey, if you're a hairdresser, let's not, I don't like going to a hairdresser and they don't look good. If you're a hairdresser, you need to look the part, like you can do hair. So some of y'all be buying these bundles. Some of y'all need to be writing them off. If you do nails, most girls who do nails, they nails look good, I would hope, unless they get in the way. But if you're buying, if you have to go in and get someone else to do your nails, there are a lot of things that you can write off. It just depends on the type of business you're in, and it has to make sense. That's all, okay? Let's see. Aura says, I had a girl who asked to do her taxes, did it, told her she gets back 1,000. She was not satisfied. Yeah, so you're gonna find that a lot. So one thing for me, I can't speak for anyone else, but a lot of people want folks to compete to get their business, and that's not really how the tax game works. Okay, you put in the information, the system gives you a number back. If they're not satisfied and they're not happy, then they need to go somewhere else. Because now this is what I do. If I tell them the amount and they don't like it, I will ask them, did you have any self-employment? Okay, now if they tell me they have self-employment, that's different. So you can always ask. All right, but a lot of people are wanting some outrageous, one girl she sent me she made 50 grand. She paid no taxes. Matter of fact, I think she paid taxes out of like 2 checks. Her refund was $11. She did not like that. And it was like, well, what would you like me to do? You have no children. You're not head of household. There's nothing I could do to change your situation. Plus, you made $70,000. You made a lot of income. So you got your money. Why do you need a refund on top of it? You got your money all throughout the year. And because people don't understand how taxes work, this is why they get upset when you don't give them numbers that they like. If I get a $0 refund, or I get told that, hey, I got to get them $5 or $10, $20, I don't mind that. That means I got to keep the majority of my money, and now I'm going to pay them when I want to. Just like they audit you when they want to, instead of doing it in the same year, they audit when they want. You do the same. Okay? All right. So the one thing I do want to talk about, and I do this a lot, but I'm going to talk about what you wanted, Miss Aura, so hold on. Does a 17-year-old qualify for child credit? Yes, they do. Once they turn 18, they don't. Hey, T Black. Sweet Black says, if you file taxes on Social Security, in there, other things you may qualify for to get a return. If you file taxes on Social Security in there. Oh, you're saying, is there? So if you file taxes on Social Security, is there other things you may qualify for to get a return? No, if you're on Social Security disability, there really isn't anything that you're going to get unless you opted. Now, there are people who get Social Security disability and they opt to pay taxes out of that money. If you pay taxes out of that money, you could more than likely get that back. But no, there isn't really anything else you can do. Most people who are on Social Security disability, it's just easier to be claimed as a dependent. But no, there really isn't, because you're not supposed to be making any money anyway. So for people who are on Social Security disability, please don't be out there trying to file taxes too and say you had a job, because you're going to mess it up. And the same for people who are trying to get Social Security disability. If you are applying for Social Security disability and you are file taxes and say you did self-employment, you're going to screw yourself, because now you've shown that you worked. Even though you may have just done your taxes to get your child tax credit because you have kids, it will come back to bite you, because you're telling the government, I still worked. So if you are able to work, they're going to say you ain't disabled. So you got to be mindful when, if you file and you're planning on doing that. Okay, so that's just something to put in your pipe. All right. You're welcome, Classic D. Let me see. I want to make sure I ain't missing nobody. Okay, it says, now she asking if she can add her cell phone. I told her no, she has no businesses. Even if she added her cell phone, hey, Miss Carla, even if she added her cell phone, I don't really know what that's going to do. Now, let me just say this, Miss Aura, so that you're clear. If a person does self-employment, they do not have to have an official business in the Secretary of State website. They do not. There are people who work under their own name. It could be a fictitious name. Some people have a business and just never went to the website, the Secretary of State, and actually applied for it. So for example, if I'm selling plates out of my house or I'm doing hair, I'm still in business. I still can have write-offs. What I don't have is an official business. Okay. But so, if somebody tells you that they have self-employment, then they do. Your job is to ask the question, they give you the answer. That is it. Okay. So you can't tell them, don't tell them because they don't have an official business, they can't do it. All right. Because people do a lot of things that they may not have went and signed up and paid for it. Okay. You can work and only make a certain amount of money under, what's SGA? You mean Social Security Disability? Yes. If you're on that work program, you can. You're correct. All right. So somebody asked me about, they wanted to open a business and they needed to know about, how to be taxed. And I feel like I talk about this every week, but I'm going to do it so that everybody is clear. You guys need to understand that there are two types of businesses. That's the corporation and the LLC. Yes, you can write off a lease rental, Miss B. Johnson. Yes. Hold on. Liz Alba, I retired in August on Social Security now. I got a W-2 for the months I work. Do I file? Yes, you do. Yes, you should file. And you should file your Social Security too, because they're going to send you a 1099 or 1098. They'll be sending you a form too. Oh, substantial gainful activity. Thank you very much, Demolish Society. Okay, so two types of business structures. The corporation, and then there's the LLC. The way you choose to be taxed, you could choose to be taxed like a LLC, you could choose to be taxed like a corporation, or you could choose an S corporation. Those are just different ways to be taxed, okay? If somebody says they want to start a business, the first thing I ask them is, how do you want to carry the income you make? Do you want to carry it on your personal taxes, or do you want to carry it on your business taxes? Once you answer that question, that tells me what business structure you should consider filing. If you say, I want to carry it on my business, then yes, you can get a corporation, because that's a totally separate tax form. Or I could say, you can get an LLC, and you can tell the IRS to treat it like an S corporation, which would mean you're filing it on a separate tax form. Or you can just have your standard LLC, and that gets claimed on your personal taxes. Okay, so two types of business structures, but 3 ways to file and 3 ways to be taxed. Okay, when it comes to when I say 3 ways to be taxed, basically that means you're telling the IRS which do you want them to tax you once, or do you want them to tax you twice? All right, so a lot of y'all are getting taxed twice if you have a corporation. I'll explain it. So say you have a corporation. The corporation owns the business. You're the employee. When the corporation makes money, it gets taxed. When the corporation cuts you a check as the employee, you get taxed. That is double taxation. If you have an LLC, you make the money. It goes directly to you on your personal income. You get taxed one time. Okay? Same with the S corporation. All right. So that's how that works. All right. Hold on. Let me go back. Y'all putting in some stuff now. So let me keep up real quick. Okay. Says, does an LLC pay taxes every 3 months? No, it doesn't. An LLC pays taxes however you choose to pay your taxes. You can pay them quarterly, which would be every 3 months. I think that's a great idea for a lot of you who are self-employed. But you can you could choose. Some of y'all may wait to the end of the year and just pay it all at once. But the smart thing to do would be to do it every 3 months, to mail it into the IRS with the voucher. And you would do that just by guessing how much you think you're going to make that year. If you know last year you made 100,000, man, I think I'm going to make another 100,000. I know off 100,000, you owe the IRS, I think, $27,000. You would break that $27,000 up over the 4 quarters, send them a check. And then what the IRS is going to do when you file your taxes and it says you owe $27,000, you're going to put in the system, or your tax preparer is going to put in the system, that you made estimated payments of $27,000. And guess what that does to your taxes? Now you owe 0, and they owe you nothing either. Okay. So, and the 15.3% is not your federal tax. That is Social Security and Medicare. Is it 15.3 or 12.9? Yeah, it's one of them. I don't have I can't look my stuff up because my phone is not in my hand. But the Medicare and Social Security is a portion of your income. But when you're self-employed, you can't take that out. Okay, so that's another reason why y'all get hit so hard, because y'all didn't even pay the taxes that they won't let you skip paying if you're a W-2 employee. All right. It says she worked at my office and that's her only job. She does nothing. Well, Miss Ora, she might be stuck where she at then. Mahalia says, what if you receive SSDI? Can a family member claim them? As long as they meet the requirements for dependency, then yeah, absolutely. What can a person who has no business, if a person has no business, can they claim mileage? No. I mean, if they have no business, what are they going to claim mileage on? They have to be doing something. You can't put, I mean, if you say they're a caterer, they can have mileage because they drive around. It has everything to do with the job. But if she just answers phone at your office, I mean, are you paying her Is she a 1099 employee? You paying her cash? How you paying her? So I gotta know that information before I can answer. Okay? Because you saying she don't do nothing. So which one is it? Is Trump really taking away taxes? No. He put into they say that they put in to abolish the IRS. I doubt very highly that it's ever going to happen. We are too deep in debt. And if they abolish taxes, y'all are going to be screaming and crying because y'all think that's going to be a good thing, but we're still $2+ trillion in debt, and somebody has to pay for that. So that means your children and your children's children and your children's children's children are going to be in debt. Everything is going to be extra sky high in order to cover the debt that we are currently paying. So I honestly think they need to keep. Unfortunately, people just don't like the IRS because they all in your business. We get that, and they take your money. But if they don't take the money, who's gonna pay for the stuff? How are these roads gonna be fixed? Y'all are taxed in everything, okay? We are taxed on everything that we use and buy. Your electricity, your water, your rent, you are taxed. If we did not have tax money, we would live in a pretty SHITTY place. Okay. So unfortunately, everybody can't be 1099. And if they did, I would feel sorry because some of y'all would not be getting y'all Social Security checks. Some of y'all would not be having this Obamacare because money can't come. I mean, they can print money from wherever they want to, but it has no value unless it has something for it to be balanced off of. Okay. And I don't want to get into the whole conversation of that about the Federal Reserve and the money being loaned, all that kind of stuff. But I doubt very highly that's going to go away because this is a way for the banks to technically use someone else to get the money back from us. Okay. So they need somebody to come and strong arm us and take this money away. So I don't think, even if he tries, I don't think it will ever pass. Not at all. Okay. I could be wrong, but I doubt it very, very highly. Many have talked about it, and many will not pass. They can print the money now. They absolutely can print it. You can keep printing as money as much as you want to, but they won't have anything left. They keep printing without anything to back it. The money is just going to be a piece of paper, which is basically why we're going to be digital soon, okay? T Black says, I'm a student now, but I have an online Avon business with no sales yet and no brick and mortar yet. That's okay. You do not have to have sales. Unfortunately, I'm sorry you don't have no sales. Y'all want to get at T Black 9? She's selling some Avon, okay? Because I love their mascara, so holla at me, girl. Oh, and I want me some Skin So Soft oil. Boom, I'll buy something from you. Okay. But even if you don't have sales, you still had to pay that startup fee because I did used to do Avon before too, and you did have to buy that starter kit. You did need to get you some business cards. I'm sure. Okay. You probably drove somewhere to get it. You used your electricity to go on the internet to pay for that fee, and you probably you probably use some postage if you had to mail something. If somebody, well, you said you didn't make no sales yet, so we can't say that. Yes, but you have to do some marketing because you want these girls to come to your party, which means you probably went out, you probably ate. You know, you probably had meals. You probably had to go and maybe consult with some of these women and take them out. Some of these things you can do can be write-offs. That's why you need to look at that Schedule C form so that you can see what the categories are to see if you can use it as a write-off. Okay? Look at that. You got some orders. A Pretty D want to order from Avon. So I'm going to need you to put that link down here. See, I don't need y'all coming on this page talking about y'all got no business and ain't got no link for us to click on. Okay. And if you do the marketing counts. Advertisement is the number one slot on the box. Okay. All right. Which way is better for tax purposes? See, the thing is, again, how do you want to claim? How do you want your money? Do you want your money to fall under you, the person, or do you want your money to fall under you, the business? Of course, we want to be taxed less, but it all depends on the person's individual goals and their plans, okay? Some of y'all may make a high salary at your job, okay? You may not want them to see that you got this other income added on top. You might want it to be separate. You may not care. You may say, I don't mind putting it all on me. It's less taxing if you were to separate the two. Especially me personally, I think corporations are the way to go because you can be an employee. Yes, you get double taxed, right? I do understand that. You get double taxed in some situations. A corporation is much easier. It's cheaper to form. It is, I'm just going to tell you, in the business credit world, it's way more respected. It does separate your income from you, the person. And the only downside is that you're double taxed. But that's my opinion. That's the downside. Okay. But in certain cases, that might work for y'all. We would have to talk about it and see, but it could work out for you. So please don't just automatically assume that it's a bad thing because you get double tax. It may benefit you better. Okay. And again, I can get into certain situations, but I ain't gonna say all that on here of what some of those situations are. But some of y'all are in situations where y'all don't need y'all money to be commingling. It needs to be separate. All right. Especially, well, look, I ain't even finna get there. I'm just finna, I'm gonna stop it right there. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stop. Okay. But also remember too, when you have a business, which is why I think y'all should file it, is because if somebody wants to sue you, let them sue the business and not you. So sometimes it's not that bad of an idea to have a business because some of y'all are operating businesses anyway. And you're putting yourself at risk right now for letting somebody come to you. I'm talking to whoever's doing hair in their house right now. You're doing hair in your house and you don't have a business set up. Let somebody come in and slip and fall. Okay. And I brought this up because somebody just won against Holland Cruise Lines $21 million. And you know what he won $21 million for? I couldn't believe it. And I'm thinking, damn it, this should have happened to me. He was walking out. If y'all ever been on a cruise, he was walking from the inside outside to where the pool is, and the sliding glass door hit the man in the head. Bam, just like this. And he got a lawyer, and his lawyer says that he is now suffering from memory loss, and he had a minor traumatic brain injury, and that fool won $21 million. This was just the other day. Okay? But guess what? The people who own Holland Cruise Lines, they're not worried about being sued. They're letting their insurance pay for that. Their business insurance. So some of y'all need to be careful if y'all are mixing y'all personal with y'all business and you're allowing people in your areas and you're not protected. Okay, you definitely need it. And I'm talking to somebody with a brick and mortar business. You need to get you some business insurance too, because people will, especially now with the way this economy gonna be, people are gonna be looking and finding ways to sue. Okay, and if that man got 21 million for that, come on. All right. Do I have to file separate Schedule C if only one business made money? No, you don't have to file. Well, if you have more than one business, if you're a photographer, you're a hairstylist, and you cook, you should have a Schedule C for every single one of them. Okay, that's just how you keep things in order. So if you have more than one business, you can. If it's just one business, you could just do the Schedule C. But let me say something though. If you have multiple businesses and you didn't make any money, don't file Schedule C for every business that didn't make money. And the reason why is because every time you create a new Schedule C in your taxes, you get charged a certain percent of the money. They automatically hit you with an amount. Okay, so if you got 5 of them, you may start to see that tax return gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So if you ain't making any income, don't go out there and be having. I seen someone with like 5 jobs on there, and it was like, what was the point of opening all of these, having all of these on there? You didn't even make any money just because you're trying to get a bunch of write-offs. You can do that on 1 or 2. 1, if that, because majority of the time you can't have 5 side businesses and think they're gonna be successful anyway. So you might as well just put all your expenses under 1. Okay. And I know I haven't said hit the share like button or anything like that, but please do hit that share button, the like button. I also didn't mention y'all can go to my website, shamikasaves.com. Y'all also can go to my YouTube under the same exact name, Shamika Saves, and go and subscribe to my page. Okay. The link is in the bio. For those who are watching on YouTube, thank you. Y'all are already there. Make sure y'all subscribe too. Okay. It says, what if you estimate and overpay? Will they refund you? Absolutely. If you overestimate your taxes, that's what a refund is. The refund is a refund of money you gave them that you overpaid them. That's what people don't understand. When people think of a tax refund, they think the government owes them some money. They don't. They are basically giving you your money back that you overpaid them. If you have children, they're giving you money only for the children. That is your tax. That is your earned income tax credit. And then if you have a refund from overpaying from your check, then they're adding those 2 things together. But majority of the time, not majority of the time, all the time, a refund is an overpayment. Unless you have kids, then it's an overpayment if you have one. And then whatever you get for your earned income tax credit. All right. So Mahay says, but they have to declare profits too, right? No, not everybody who has a side business makes money in their first year or two. Some of y'all really will have expenses. Now, if you made no money, but you had like $20,000 in expenses, sometimes that can be hard to justify. It can be, because the IRS may say, well, if you got $20,000 in losses and you haven't even made $1, why are you even considering this a business? That is why they were saying, for some of y'all need to call it a hobby versus a business, because most time a business takes, you put in more time towards the business versus a hobby. Okay, hobbies are usually something you do every once in a while. A business is what you actively are working. Okay, but the first 2 years or so, most time you really don't make a whole lot of money. Now, if you're a person that does hair, you ain't gonna be doing it. You're not gonna be buying bulks and bags of hair if you don't have no customers. But a person that wants to be a photographer, they absolutely could spend $5,000 or $10,000 buying the equipment that they need before they even get a customer. That is very possible. It has everything to do with the profession you chose. Okay, so same thing. I ain't trying to be funny, but look at a stripper. A stripper gonna spend money before she actually might make money. She need outfits. She need her hair. She need makeup. She need to make sure her nails done. All those types of things. So before she even hit that stage and make her first dollar, she spent money. So some of those things you can justify based off of the profession. Okay. All right, so this says, no, this is a different person. Her last employer used to claim gas, but she has no business. Yeah, you can't claim gas, and that's what I'm saying. People were using that fuel tax form. People who use the fuel tax form, I am certain that at some point the IRS may come back and start auditing those individuals, especially because that schedule for fuel is not for an ordinary person. I do have a TikTok video on here already, but the fuel tax form is only for people who work for the government. If they have jobs where they have to use fuel, like ranchers, people who do landscaping, because you need fuel to go on your lawnmowers. People who might work in the industry dealing with snow or logging, anything that you would require any fuel usage that doesn't go in your car or your 18-wheeler. Okay, so anything else you can use that form for. But a lot of people were just giving people numbers in that fuel form, that fuel credit form. That's how the taxes got to be so high the last couple of years. Same with the guy with the $89,000 refund. Okay, so don't use that fuel form, or not. Don't use it at all. Okay, that's a catch. Thank you, Mahal. Your taxes pay for infrastructure. I don't, people are so, it gets me. Now, the way that they instituted doing taxes or instituted the IRS was completely wrong. When they took when they took our money off of the gold and now it's fiat money that has nothing to back it with, we have built ourselves into a mess. But right now, to try to turn around and think y'all are going to be able to undo that in 4 years with Trump is crazy, because it's just not going to happen. Because hell, the IRS came with 1960. I mean, we're 30 some years. I mean, no, we more than 30. We 50. Hell, don't get me to do the math, okay? Y'all know how me and math off these numbers. I have to use a calculator, but we 50, 60 years in. We can't undo this in no 4 years of thinking just because he's going to abolish IRS that it's going to fix the problems, because it's not. Because when you have them potholes and you have no street lights and you can't pay your police officers and you can't pay your the fire department, let's just say they abolish taxes, we are going to go to heck in a handbasket. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm all for them keeping taxes around. Now, we might be able to, and I'm okay with how they do the tax system right now. If you don't want to be taxed a lot, don't make a lot. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. We're on the graduated tax system. Everybody should not be expected to pay the same amount of taxes when you don't make the same amount of money as everybody else. That's just completely selfish, rude, and dumb. Okay? So if you make less, you pay less. You make more, you pay more. Simple. It's just that simple. No, he didn't. He said that he was, no, I didn't see nothing about he not going to tax no overtime. He said he was not going to tax tips. That would be crazy. Not to tax overtime. Why? Because again, we $2 trillion in debt, And even if they didn't tax your overtime with federal, they're going to tax it with Social Security and Medicare. So they're still taxing your overtime. He just said he wasn't going to do tax on tips. Okay. All right. Let me see what you asked, Out of Shell. Let me see. I want to make sure I didn't miss nothing. Okay. Hold on. Trying to call me and I don't lie. Presently, I take the bus everywhere. I don't have a car yet. Well, if you don't have a car yet, that means you still have fares. You still have your transportation fee. So that doesn't matter. So you can still write off your fares to get on the train as long as you or the bus when you do it concerning your business. Okay. Says, can you use Excel spreadsheet to track business expenses for IRS proof instead of piles of receipts? Absolutely. So let me just say this. You don't have to show the IRS anything until they ask. Okay? Your tax preparer, you can give them numbers. Okay? That's usually when somebody tells me they do self-employment, I send them the Schedule C form. And I'll say, based off these categories, you tell me what expenses you have in those categories. Because we are not required to sit there and add up all your receipts. Now, if you want to keep receipts, you can. But of course, Shamika has a cheap way to do it that you don't even have to do no Excel spreadsheet, because a lot of people don't even know how to do Excel spreadsheet. Okay. You can do a few things. You can do Mile IQ. Mile IQ is an app. It will automatically track your movements for your business by mileage, by letting you know. So you basically let it know that you're about to start, and it does the rest. Now, I'm cheaper than that. What I have done is I actually will put it on the exercise app. Okay, the exercise app. I would do one for the bike riding. Is it bike riding the one I would do? Yeah, I would do it for bike riding. And that way, even though I'm not really exercising, I would let it track my miles, and it would be cheaper than actually paying for a app subscription. Okay, so that's one way you can track your miles. Okay, another thing you could do is you can, now I'm big on using my camera. Take a picture of stuff. Okay, if you have large expenses, you could take a picture of it, or you could go right through your bank accounts and you can go through your expenses, and then you can categorize them really easy in QuickBooks if you want to get QuickBooks, or you can go use some of these financial budget apps and they will let you select categories and you can put stuff in those categories. But here is where y'all are wrong. If you have a business and you do not have a business account, you are making it harder on yourself. The reason you would need to have a business account is because business accounts usually already break your things out in expenses for you. A lot of times you can select that. Some banks do it, some banks won't. If you don't, you can go through it yourself. You can I used what is it? Oh gosh, it's a budget app. I can't think of the name of it right now. I think it's You Need a Budget. It might be You Need a Budget. And I go through it, and it will be linked to the business bank account. So I know that I'm not using my personal debit card for the business expenses. I'm using the business debit card. So that way, when I go through it, I can go through my bank account one time, once a year if I wanted to, or twice a year, every 6 months, or every 3 months. And then you can go through and you can start putting the expenses in certain categories so that it's already done. And then what happens in these apps is it remembers. And if it sees that you went and got fuel, it'll automatically put them in those categories. Or even better, if you have a business credit card, the business credit card absolutely has expenses already categorized for you. And it does all the work for you. So you don't even have to think about it. Okay. Those are some of the ways you can do it to make it easy. To me, going through the bank and going through your bank statements is the best way to do it, because that is your actual true account of where you spent your money. Okay. So I hope I answered that for you. Jennifer says, God bless you, Shamika. You always try your very best to give us the best information possible. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Nicola says, I started with Mary Kay. How do I do the taxes? Well, if you didn't make any sales, then you would just need to add them as a, you could put that down as your self-employed job, because that's your thing on the side. So you can do your Schedule C for that. Okay. Thank you, Trick 203. I appreciate that. Let me see. Oh, that's how the receipt thingy goes. Smart. Yeah, I'm real cheap about it. Okay. There is an app too that lets you snap all of your receipts and it totals all the numbers for you and give it to you at the end of the year. But a lot of that stuff you have to pay for. So I'm not doing that. I just use the right bank account and then I just go through every few months and go, okay, yep, this was for gas. Oh, no, that's the wrong thing. This needs to be for utilities or this falls in this category. Do it one time and it does it for you and you don't got to do it no more. Very easy. Okay. And we try to do it for the cheap because these companies will create programs and come up with a prescription for everything and you'll be stuck paying. Okay. It says, are we believing what he said? Who is he? I don't know who he is. Are we saying he as in we? I think who I think we talking about? Hey John Thompson, I ain't seen you in a while. So no, I mean Trump's definitely going to be trying to do things. He definitely is. I mean, hell, he is already doing things. Okay. Your job is what are you going to do to at least make your situation comfortable for you, okay? Because we don't know what's going to happen. This is all very new, and he just got here, okay? I'm afraid to apply for my new EIN because I don't have my own address yet. You don't have to be afraid to apply for your EIN, even if you don't have an address. Now, if you mean you homeless and ain't really staying no place, then I would wait. But if you mean you don't have a business address, that is okay. People have their EIN associated with their personal address as well. You can always update that at another time once you get one, okay? It says, how can you not overpay in taxes from your paycheck? Hey, Carla, you late. We talked about it, but easy. So if you don't want to overpay for taxes from your paycheck, take your salary and you can do one or two things. You can go option A or option B. On your W-4 form, you go to line 4C as in Charlie. And here are your two options. You can take 10% of your annual salary and divide that by how many times you get paid a year. And that number is what you would put on line 4C as your extra withholding. And you just let your HR person know that this is the amount that you want to come out of your check. Okay. A lot of HR people find that to be a lot easier for them, so they don't have to worry about it because they can punch in how much you want and then that can come out. Because a lot of y'all are probably exempt and don't know it. Okay. If you put nothing, some places will interpret that to take the max and some places will interpret that to make you exempt. It all depends on your HR person, your payroll department. But if you say, hey, this is the amount I want, they may tell you to put it in line 4A, or they may tell you to put it in line 4C. I have been telling everybody to put it in line 4C for years and just let them know that this is the amount that you want to come out every 2 weeks. That is how you almost bring it. That is how you come down to paying them almost exactly what they're supposed to. You may go over by doing it, by taking the 10%. That's fine. Because remember, we're not including the standard deduction. So since we're not including the standard deduction, you may overpay a little, but that's fine because most of y'all want refunds anyway. If you want, now let me give you the option B. The other option is just take your salary. You don't even have to take 10%. Just take your salary and divide it by 24 or 26 pay periods, and it's going to give you the same number, okay? It's just whichever one makes it easier for you in your brain. 10% of your salary divided by 24 or 26, or just take your salary and divide it by 24 or 26, okay? And you can put that in line 4C. C as in Charlie, okay? Fund sizes says, if you're doing quarterly taxes, how do you calculate Social Security and Medicare taxes, state and Fed? So your state is going to be different. So we're going to put state off to the side. So if you're doing your quarterly tax payments, you can do the same thing that I'm telling you right now. You can take your salary and take 10% of it. And you can break that up over 4 payments that you have to pay to the IRS, and you can send that to them. Now, it is not going to be correct. It is not going to get you where you get no refund and because you're probably going to why? Because we did not calculate Social Security and Medicare. Now, if you want to, you can do you can take your salary and you can do. I'm trying to see how I want to tell y'all to do that because it's like 15%. So you can always add extra. I got a rule of thumb. Whatever you send them on your quarterly tax payments, add in. Hold on, let me give you a percentage number. Okay, look, you got me on that question. That's a very good question. Okay, times, let me see. Nope, okay. Hold on. So I'm going to still take this same salary. I'm going to divide it by the same thing. And nope. So we're not going to do it that way. Hold on, y'all. She got me on this one. So I'm going to take the salary times 12.9%. And then we're going to do that by pay period. Okay. Woo. Got me. If you want to figure out your Social Security and Medicare taxes, for those who care, because a lot of y'all are probably not going to, y'all probably just going to let the IRS tell you to pay them that amount. You would take your salary, and I would just tell you to just do by 15%, and then do it by the 24 or 26. Okay, it's going to be not as much as you paid in federal tax, but it will be close. If y'all look at y'all W-2s and just add up what you paid in your taxes, of course you got to see how much you're going to get for a refund, because some of y'all might have taken out too much. But what you pay in federal tax, if you pay the amount you're supposed to, plus your Social Security and Medicare, they will be similar. They're going to be some dollars off, some hundreds of dollars off, but they will be close in almost the amount that you're going to pay. That's especially for a person that's in a lower tax bracket, not those that are in a higher tax bracket. Fun size, you asked a very rough question. That takes for me to actually see your pay in order to break that down, because I don't want to confuse anybody. But let me say this: for state taxes, you have to first see if you just pay state taxes, or do you pay state and then your local, because sometimes you pay local. Like if you live in New York City, you pay New York City, but you pay because you live in the Bronx or because you live in Brooklyn, so you pay extra. That all depends on where you live. You have to see what your state charges. If you are doing your taxes and you have to do your taxes for your state, it'll calculate in the system and tell you how much you owe your state. Some states may or may not require you to submit quarterly payments. The IRS does. You would have to see if your state allows you to submit quarterly payments, or do they want you to pay them in full at the end of the year. So that's tough, because that depends on each individual person. Okay? Damn, you got me with that one. Okay, so Jimmy started his new job and he was only claiming himself. But see, when you say claiming himself, that's the thing, Carla. When you do your W-4, you can't claim yourself. So you can't put one. So that's the confusing part to people, because we don't fill out the tax forms like we used to. And he's probably had this job that he's had. I know this person I'm talking to for so very long that he hasn't had to resubmit a W-4 in a long time. So if you don't mind, I will need to see what he put on the W-4. Okay, because some jobs don't allow you to put one or two. They want you to fill out that W-4 form and hand it to them, and they put what you put on there. Okay, so let me know. You can text me, and I'll probably call you tonight anyway, because I got to talk to you about what we got to talk about. And yes, Mihail, your New York taxes are very brutal. All right, asking for a friend. How many years do you have before you get penalized for not filing? You get penalized every year. You get penalized as soon as you miss the April 15th date. If you put an extension, you have until October 15th. So if you put the extension and you still didn't file, you get penalized from October 15th. So the IRS ain't cutting you no days, no years, no hours, no minutes. If you're not filed by close of business on April 15th or October 15th, you are penalized. You just don't know you penalized until they send you a letter telling you what your fees are, because you filed late. So they don't let you go no 3 years and then you penalize. The only people that get penalized if they haven't filed for a certain amount of time are individuals who have nonprofits. They have to file, they want you to file every year, but you at least have to file by every third year. Okay, but everybody else, y'all need to file every single year. Okay. All right. All right, so let me see. All right, so it's after 8, it's 8:16, so I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes if y'all had anything else. Ms. Aura, I hope I helped you. If not, we probably have to talk separately. And then Carla, I know I gotta talk to you too. Let me see. Nothing new with the credit. There ain't no grants, ain't no money out there right now. Everything is on stop and hold. Hopefully some of y'all didn't lose y'all jobs. Hopefully some of y'all are not running into any issues with the DEI going away. Golly, I'm trying to think. And yeah, just be mindful that we don't know what's coming down the pipeline, and don't be out here going crazy spending y'all money, okay? Because that's something that I told myself I'm going to chill, because we don't know what's going to happen in the next so-and-so, and to be paying $5 or $6 for some eggs is just not going to cut it, okay? So I need to make sure we eating at home all 2025, okay? Or something. We're finna get some chickens and we finna start a hustle, okay? Pamela says she filed her W-2, but not her 1099. Well, I'm sure she ain't filed a 1099 because she didn't pay no taxes out of that money and they don't want to lower their income taxes. So if she didn't file a 1099, she probably should. Okay, I'd rather you, if the IRS rather you owe them than not file at all. Okay, so stop running from the folks because at some time, at some point, you never know, they can come and get you. We just never know when, unfortunately. Okay. Let's see. Or it says in box 14, other two, how about do you enter this? Do you add both numbers together? There's one, two. Yeah, so that depends on the tax software, Miss Aura. If some tax softwares want you to add it together, and this is a tax preparation question, but if in box 14 it has a letter like A, B, C, D, D, E, E, those need to be separate. If it's just numbers in a box with nothing, no letters in front of it, you can add those together. Okay. But if it has separate letters, those letters mean something. So you have to put those letters in and you need to put them in as a separate line. Okay. Good. I'm glad you got it. All right. So without further ado, again, I appreciate y'all for being here. Some weeks gonna be dry, some weeks gonna be juicy. All I know is I'm gonna be here, okay? This Wednesday, I will not be here, but I will be back next Monday for you guys. So if y'all need anything, send me a message on my website or text me if you got my number or email me if you have that. And y'all be blessed and I'll see y'all the next time around. Okay, so be blessed, and I will talk to you later. Thank you, LEJ 737. All right, Miss Pam, you want to send the message? I mean, you must be on here. Okay, it says, hold on, let me go. Millionaire Texas T says, hey, what advice do you have for someone who just has a receipt book for their business to file? What's SC? Oh, Schedule C. What's SC on Millionaire Sexy T? And the business I have for a receipt book, nothing. A receipt book is great. Keep that receipt book. I'm a big camera person, so what I would do is you could take those numbers and you can put them in your phone, or you can take those numbers and put them in your phone so that you can have your sales, so that you can be able to document what your sales were. Hell, you can also, if you want to be real fancy, y'all can go to that Invoice ASAP app that I was telling y'all about. It's $4.99. Invoice ASAP. You can, after they pay, send them that invoice that shows that it's paid. That way you have something in your log versus just your receipt book. It looks more professional. And even though they may pay you cash or however they choose to pay you, the Invoice ASAP asks you, did they pay you by credit card? Do you want to say they paid you by cash? Whatever. You just want to be able to have an invoice to track so that you can have the customer's information if you want to send out specials and all that kind of stuff. So for $5 a month, it is not too bad. So I would tell you to do that. But I still don't know what SC means, so I'm trying to wait to see what you're going to say. Okay, before I sign off. Oh yes, Schedule C. Yes, you can do a Schedule C for that, absolutely. But receipt books are great. That's old school, ain't nothing wrong with that. But if I were you, I would pay that $5 for that app, and I would start putting their information right in there. Once you have them in there once, you ain't never got to put them in there again, and you can just start issuing invoices every time just by emailing and or text. It looks fancy. It looks more up to date with what we're doing now, and it's an easy way to track your sales. Okay. All right, so y'all have a good week too. And I will talk to whoever I need to talk to. And again, if y'all need to book consultation, whatever, let me know. And look, I didn't even talk bankruptcy today. Isn't that something? Oh my gosh. All right, so I'll see y'all next Monday because I won't be here this Wednesday. All right, so Monday at 7 p.m. See y'all.